when the Germans came in, and well, we didn't live a normal life, but when the German came in, everything was, we were frightened because we knew that it will be worse.
So what happened up until the Germans came in? What was your life like?
Well, I mean, I liked the job, and we always, we didn't have much hope because we knew what happened already.
Yeah.
Because they said, they were saying, people after the wars, people were saying that the Polish Jewry already dying and they were murdered and we were still dancing. It was not true, because of course we tried to live normal life, but we knew what will be coming. We couldn't have.
When did you move into? You moved into Jewish houses, is that right?
Yes.
When
yes.
was that?
Well, we moved into Jewish houses when the German came to Budapest.
In 1944?
It started with the Jewish houses, yes. And look here, I don't know, the Hungarian was anti-Semite, they were always anti-Semite. But if the German don't force them and they don't come in, they didn't show it. It came out everything what murderers the people were when the German came in. Well, they came in 1944.
Mm-hmm.
And then started, they collected the people, put in some path, and then from there, we went into these Jewish houses, but my cousin, those whose whole family perished, but he was there for the Zionists. He was a Zionist. And he broke us food and everything. And that time he said that it's no good to, we have to go into hiding somewhere. It's not good to live in, like in these houses where I
Can you describe the houses? Where were you living? What was the Jewish house like where you were living? How many people? And
well, they were, look, if they would have let us stay there and live through the war, it would have been good. It was, in a way, we knew how people were perishing in other places, and we knew that from the country people were taken already, because they were taken in June already.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew that it's very bad. We didn't look with optimism to the future.
Mm.
And well, somehow, we became lethargic. We just wished that the war would come nearer and the bombs would be falling, because we knew that we didn't have exit. They couldn't let us out.
So how many people were in a Jewish house?
Well, if I think back, if the Jewish house would have stayed and nothing else would have happened, that the war doesn't come there, we could have survived.
Can you tell me how many people were in the Jewish house?
Well, in one flat, which my mother's friend had, her brother owned the whole, they were 3 stories,
mm-hmm.
and that was quite high in that time, 3 stories houses. A lot of people lived there, but in her flat, her brother owned the house. She had a big flat, and she was a friend of my mother, so we went to live with her. She had 2 children, mother had 2 children, and father, and her husband. So we had 2 rooms for us. What was one mother and father's bedroom, and my little sister slept there, and I slept in the living room, like the living room. She was a good friend of ours, so we were sharing the kitchen and the bathroom. It was a nice flat, it was a big flat. Not everybody was so lucky. We thought that time that it's lucky that we had this friend which became a Jewish house.
Was it in a particular area, all the Jewish houses together? Or
The Jewish house, yes, it was in an area. That's what I know. I don't know, you see. My mother was always frightened to let us out because as the German came in, you know, it was not so. We heard the rumors and they were not rumors, it happened because we know that from the Swedish house and the Swedish protectorate, that was not the German, but under the German rule, you know, that Arrow Cross Party took out the people from the houses, even if it was under Swedish protectorate or Swiss protectorate. They took them out to the Danube and, you know, they killed them. You know, at one stage I was taken. I thought that that will be the end of me. Fortunately, it was a German ship there in the Danube, and on the German they were not it was ordinary, not the Nazis, you know. They took us to clean the ship and we were cleaning it, and then they let us go home, you know, so it was different. But the Arrow crosses they took out from these protected houses, Swiss and Swedish, to the Danube, and they killed a lot of people.
What was the food situation like when you were living in the house, in the Swiss house, in the Jewish house, I mean?
Well, we are still in the 7th district, in the collected Jewish house, and we called it the Star Houses, the Yellow Star was on. Well, look here, we knew that we are in danger. But we were with friends living together.
Who was supervising these Jewish houses? Were there people guarding them, checking?
Well, we had the Yellow Star to wear the Yellow Star, and there was certain time when we can go out to do the shopping, and we were not allowed to go out from that. It was in the 7th district. And we were not allowed to go out, you know. It was around only till there were guards there, just around the 7th district. Well, it was hopeless. We were closed in there, we knew that.
What, can you remember any particular incidents with the guards? How did they treat you?
Look,
what nationality?
Lucky.
They were Hungarian?
Well, yeah, the Hungarian, I think the Hungarian was even worse than the German. Well, it depends if the German were Nazis, then of course not, because they killed you.
So who was supervising where you were living at the Jewish house? A Hungarian guard?
The Hungarian, that was the Arrow Cross.
And how did they treat you?
Not well, but the policemen, they are really, even now when I think back, all Hungarians can say that the same, you know. They can say the same, that in Budapest, the Hungarian policemen, whenever they could help, they tried to help. Perhaps there were some who were anti-Semite, but I still remember, you know, that when we were taken from as my cousin, I mentioned my cousin who was carrying, because he looked Aryan, and he was carrying food to us, and he bought the food for the Zionists who were in the Swiss consulate. He was giving out false papers, and Well,
Did you
I'm
get
sorry, I lost it myself. Where I am, I'm still there in the Star House. You are interested?
Yes.
That was the beginning.
Yeah.
When that was the beginning. As soon as the German came
Yes.
in,
And
the
okay.
Hungarian started to collect.
And what was the food situation like? Did you have enough food to eat?
Well, my cousin brought us something, and of course we couldn't save. He was always telling us that save, but we couldn't save because those people who took us, it was their lovely flat, a friend of my mother's, and she had two small children, and when they didn't have food, we just had to eat the food. So together, and he was always bringing us food. He was very good to us. And well, then we went from where we wanted to get away. He told us that it has no, I don't know, the Zionist he was a big Zionist from his childhood, but he couldn't protect his father, mother, and two young brothers, because they were taken from the other part they were taken from their home. But he wanted to protect us, so he was always bringing us some food. And then, but you know how it is, they were all Jewish families with little children, and my mother, of course, wanted to give them from that food. So when we left the place, without anything, because it would have been suspicious, and we went to that, he told us to go to that Swiss house, because he can get us what is, I know now in Hungarian, it is like for a certificate which says you that you are going to Switzerland, and it's like for protection.
Yes.
And so we went to have a look somewhere. And of course they were very well occupied already, but then we went into a place, it's called Holland Street, and 46, if I remember well, yes, 46. It was under Swiss protectorate, protecting that it was not protected later on, but at that time, yes, it was. And there were some Swedish houses, and so we went there. And we left everything behind, of course, because we couldn't. There were a lot of people involved. It was not a river town.